Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Waffles RC. We are, of course, as you saw by the thumbnail, back on the mud truck. Now, I have been working off camera because my neighbor was mowing his yard, so I wasn't going to stand around and do nothing. I don't know how well you can see, but I added mounts for our lower links. Just put some 1/2 inch square stock, drilled some holes, calling it good. In today's video, the main goal is to get this sitting on these. So that means we have quite a bit of work ahead of us. Since I did the lower link mounts, now I need to do the upper link mounts. Haven't really thought that through very far, but we're just going to get right to it. Just like the other two trucks, one there, one there. I'm just going to weld in some tabs and drill some holes and hope that it's squared up. Right, so in the last shot, I believe I said that I was going to show you how I put everything on here. Not gonna lie, kind of forgot. One, got carried away with just working, trying to make forward progress. Two, I was watching 24 Yups donk off, so I was distracted not only by this, but by that. Now, if you're into 24 skills, go check him out. He's almost to 20,000 subscribers. Go give him a subscription, help him get to that 20,000. But now back to the 10 scale stuff. All I did was I cut little pieces of metal, made sure that the upper links were the same length. I know that the bottom links are the same length. Cut these tabs, put them somewhat in place, welded them on. And yes, those are all technical terms. Now, there is a geometry that goes behind mounting links to make sure that, one, the axle is centered, because this is a triangulated 4-link. So you want to make sure the axles are centered, and you also want to make sure that the axle doesn't pivot any weird way. So that's tricky to figure out. Now, there are other people on this YouTube thing that are significantly smarter at that, and I suggest you go find them, because this is not the place. Because here I centered up the axle by putting this stick against my perfectly straight frame. Lizard. We call him Muscle Man. See, he's doing the push-ups, or he was. Come on. Sorry, we have lizards here. I think they're cute. So I take this perfectly straight stick against my perfectly straight frame, point it down, and put it on equal parts of the axle. So once I get it perfectly straight, I have these tabs that I cut out, bolted to the links, which I do know. Make sure the links are the exact same length. That way everything's squared up once you put it in here. I lowered it down onto this bar, held it there, and then I welded it in. So if my guesstimations were correct, if we watch that pinion, it doesn't pivot like I thought it would. Oh, because that wasn't in the right spot. But it doesn't go absolutely crazy. Now, what about this one? That one's a little bit better. Like I said, there's a lot better people to figure out exactly how to custom make your own links and mounting points and stuff like that. Just, we guess here. That's all I do. Now that the axles are mounted, we need to put shocks on it. There. Shocks are on it. Send it. Just messing with you guys. So here we have my above favorites. Not my normal favorites, just one step above. These are 130 millimeter shocks. As you can see, we have 4 here. We also have 4 here. My goal here is to do 2 per corner on this truck. Now, these axles are not set up for that. The frame is not set up for anything because I'm not done making it. So there's that. That's the easy part. The axles are not designed for dual coilovers. So how do we fix that? Yes, you guessed absolutely perfectly. I'm going to make my own brackets for it. So let me go away, try and figure out how I'm going to make said brackets, and try and make 4 of them that are exactly the same. Then, I gotta get the body mounted on here. Let's worry about the shock mounts first. Lower shock mounts. And there are some mounts for dual shocks. Have them on each side, front and rear. And no, I'm not done with them yet. I still gonna clean them up. This is just rough patch, get it all to work. So now you would think, since I did shock mounts, that I'm moving on to mounting the shocks onto the frame. Wrong. Now we have to mount the body. There's always a logical order to these things. I don't know what that is, but there usually is a logical order. Oh, I still have to cut the body. All right, custom body. Time for some cutting. So I have to cut out this part of the body because my frame is wider than the Sen Racing frame. So we need it to sit down further. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, so there is a guesstimation of center. Let me just put a mark in it. Sure, I'll go a little bit wider just to make me feel better. Trying to keep as much of the stock body as possible. I don't need a lot out of it. Yep. Just like metal, only take out as much as you need. Don't take out too much. Yep, there we go. I do have to keep in mind that this has an interior, so I'm trying to just guesstimate, but by the looks of it, it's good. Oh man, that looks pretty cool with the control arms on it. Here. Other than the mess on the bench, I'm seeing this and it's looking good. The body still has to come up, but that's why we are making body mounts. And if you're wondering why I'm making body mounts instead of using the ones that were on the old frame that I threw away. Oh yeah, by the way, I didn't throw that away. That's Troy's. I thought it was funny. So I still have it, but I don't want to use those body mounts, so I'm going to make my own. Oh, there's no way that I could get away with it that easily, is there? The rear, yeah. Right. Let me come up with a plan to figure out how to get the body mounts on here correctly. Welcome to a new day. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'm sure I'm not. You ever have one of those days where you just feel off? Well, that was me yesterday. So I just stopped, went inside, had some me time, you know, just gather my thoughts together. But let me show you the progress that I have made on the mud truck, which is probably significant from the last time I filmed anything. All right, so first thing that you'll notice is that, you know, stop moving, you stupid camera. So the first thing that you'll notice is that the wheels and tires are on. That's because I got the body mounts. I'm not completely done with them, but it's enough to hold the body up there so I can get the right height. But I got the rear and I got the front, and I put these here to help support the back of the cab because, well, there's some space in between the body mounts. So I wanted to support the bed or the cab just a little bit so that way, you know, it doesn't look bent. Now that I have that, I have already determined where I want my ride height to be. So I'm just making brackets, I guess you would call them, for the coilovers. So let me make 2 more of those, weld them onto there, send it. Once again, when I build these things, I'm totally making everything up. So let's get to work. just like that, there's an airplane, but also it's sitting on its own weight. So now let's see what it looks like with the body on it. All right, I got to put a little weight in here. Oh yeah, it's a bit tall right now, but there's quite a bit more weight that needs to go on this thing, so I think so far so good. Yeah, so from this perspective, I think it looks really good. Once again, still needs more weight, and I have double the amount of springs on it that any of the other ones do. But remember, this is Waffles RC, and we make things heavy. Right now, this thing is super light. We will change that thoroughly. Now that we have it here, we do have a few things that I need to address in the future, not right now. First and foremost is because I put the coilovers on the outside, plus with this bracket moving it much further backwards, that's about all the turning you can get out of it. Which, as you can see, is not very much. But we will address that later. For now, let's keep on moving forward. So once again, also, this is all tack welded together. There's nothing that is fully welded on just yet, in case I need to move things. So I do that on purpose, so that way, if I have to move it, I can. The next step in my process, now that we have the body set, we have the axle set, we got our suspension on, that's all good. Now we need to start working on drivetrain. And by drivetrain, I mean mounting our transfer case somewhere within this magical system of tubular stuff. I want to get this done. Also, I am going to run an idler bearing to the back, so that way it's not going to have, you know, what, a 14-inch drive shaft. A little too far. And I can't run it directly in the middle to split the difference because, once again, this thing is getting an interior. I can't put the motor and the transmission right here because there's an interior here. I have to put it up here. So I have to do some guessing. But once I get this and the idler bearing mounted, then I can add crossbars to the bottom and kind of finish all that up. But I have to make this somewhat permanent, and I need to make it clear an interior that I don't know what it looks like because it's not in front of me. This is the transfer case that I use on all my mud trucks. I actually really like it. One, because it looks like a real transfer case, so you know, that's kind of cool. Two, normally you would mount it in the truck like this. I just clock it like that, and there you go. Now it's a drop transfer case. Both of my mud trucks are set up exactly the same way. That one's a little harder to see, but you can see the transfer case is just clocked sideways, giving it that drop that these types of trucks need. And I am going to keep showing you guys those trucks, mainly because they're done, and it gives me a relative basis of what to do with this truck. Yes, I know how to build mud trucks because I built those two, but this one's longer, so somewhat the same but a little different. So let me find some metal, get this transfer case mounted up, and then figure out an idler bearing in the same manner. And there you have your idler bearing and transfer case. These idler bearings, this one I've had for a while, so that's just like a universal one that goes in between the frame rail, I believe, of an SCX-10. So I cut the ears off of it and drill my own holes, so that way I don't need the frame mounts. The new ones that I get actually are on a slide, so they already have holes in them. I just wanted to use this one because I have it on hand and didn't need to order one. Now that that's done, the next thing on the list is sway bars. I get these RC Lion universal sway bars. The new mud truck has the sway bars, the old one doesn't, but the new mud truck does a lot better because of the sway bars. So this thing is going to be top heavy, so it's going to get sway bars front and rear. These are pretty affordable and universal, so I'll put a link in the description down to them because, well, I quite like them. So I actually just did it without filming it, but fun trick for everybody that is doing anything similar to this, and it can go across many different things other than RC. If you want to make brackets that are exactly the same as each other, I drilled 2 holes, then I cut in between. Cut the first piece off, bolted the first piece that got cut off to the second piece where the second hole was, grind down one side, and then cut on the other side, and that gives you 2 brackets that are exactly the same size. No tape measure required. I just wanted to show you guys. It's a neat trick that I've done, and I've just realized I've never shown anybody. So that is how I make these tiny little small brackets, mostly symmetrical, without using a tape measure. Let me mount this last sway bar, put it all together, bring you guys right back. There's the rear sway bar, and there's the front sway bar. Now I did it there because, well, kind of out of frame and out of room. I have it bumped all the way up, so that should stiffen that up. Did the same on the rear to keep this thing nice and stiff. But looks pretty good. Everything functions as it should. The rears do act as a bump stop. Oh look, there's a dork in a van. I'm just kidding, Tom. Yeah.
What up?
Well, let me finish this just real quick.
Don't worry.
Also, if you are using these plastic link ends that come with the kit, which is perfectly fine, one of them is reverse thread. Why, I have no idea, because it's almost impossible to adjust them. So since you can't use a tap, well, you can if you got a reverse thread tap, but we don't have money or time for that. All you do, you take, say this is the link end. Let's be smart. Like, come on now. Get yourself a little lighter. You're going to hold it in the blue part of the flame, not the orange part, the blue part, for about 5 to 10 seconds, and then start threading it on, because those link ends don't come threaded. So that's the easiest way I have found to basically self-tap those things. Just get that nice and warm, get it started, crank it on. Tips and tricks from Waffles RC. So now I have to clean up because we're going to go do a live here in about an hour. So once we finish the live, I'll come back and I'm going to start adding bars to stuff, because now that's essentially ready. But yeah, feel the weight. I need to add stabilizer, or I want to and need to add stabilizer bars onto the eyler bearing and to the transfer case, and I just want it to look cool, and more bars make it look cool. Are they necessary? Not one bit. Am I going to do it? Yes, because Troy is going to abuse this thing, so we need to make it strong for him. Welcome to another day. If you didn't watch the live yesterday, what we accomplished was I added a whole mess of bars. Just structural, decorative, add weight, you know, that kind of stuff. But now, I don't know if you remember from the last video, I told you that these AR60 axles can be turned into steerable rear axles. Well, Troy was on board with that idea. So now I get to show you guys how to turn these into steerable rear axles. And these are the main parts that you're going to need. You're going to need your tie rod, your drag link, new axle shafts, new C-hubs, and then this contraption, because I couldn't get regular knuckles in time for this video. So it's now going to have brass weighted rear axle. Look, I don't make the rules about what I order from Amazon. It's just what I could find in time for this video. But remember, this is a high clearance chassis. So why not put more crawler parts on it, right? Right. Let's take this apart. I'll show you how to do one side. It's actually quite easy. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take off your hex adapter that's on your axle. Take that off. Don't lose this pin like I always do. Then on most of these, even the knockoffs, they'll have a bolt right here on the top, a bolt right down here on the bottom, and take the whole assembly out. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, I wonder if it's that. Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah. Okay, so I also forgot that these bolts right here that hold on the link mounts, shock mounts, all the mounts, the screws go in and they hold the axle shaft, but then you just take your axle shaft out, put it off to the side. And since I already assembled this one, oh wait a minute, it's not going to work on this particular axle. I guess this is a good learning lesson for everybody, including myself. When you're trying to make aftermarket axles be rear steer, take them apart first, because I can't make these rear steer. The reason being, the front axles on pretty much all AR60s are splined to this. I don't know how well that's going to come up, but so it's splined for the C-hub. This is not. Now this thing that no one really ever sees because I don't drive it because the transmission's broken, has AR60 aftermarket axles, which, as you can see, if it wasn't stuck, you can tell. Okay, it's got steering. This rear axle was splined, so this just went right on, which is why I thought those axles would be the same. So take apart your stuff first and don't film it for YouTube. I could edit this out, but knowing me, I'm not going to, because sometimes we're wrong. It happens. I really need a new tripod. If I really wanted to make this rear steer, I basically have two options. One, don't. Two, get another front axle, but then it won't match, and these only come in sets, which means I will then be stuck with two rear AR60 axles that I have no use for. Anyhow, normally that would work, but it didn't this time. So I have some thinking to do, but next week what we will be doing is sheet metaling all of this and hopefully mounting a transmission in this thing. And then I can measure for drive shafts and get drive shafts ordered for this thing, because there are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 drive shafts at the minimum for this one particular truck. But it's okay, because I'm used to having lots of drive shafts because of that thing right there. I think last time I counted, there are 14 drive shafts, 14 separate drive shafts just on that truck. So I'll be fine with 4. So as you sway in the wind because of my bad tripod, if you'd like to go to Waffles RC merch on Etsy and get some merch, that'd be greatly appreciated. It would help me get a new tripod so you don't get seasick. It also helps fund, well, not this particular build, this was funded by a trade between me and Troy, but my other stuff, it helps fund all that stuff and just helps keep the channel going. So any purchase is greatly appreciated. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for subscribing. We will see you next week when we try and, I don't want to be over ambitious and say that we can get it driving, but we might try if I get a transmission. So see you next week.